And we're live.
You're listening to the We Talk Nerd podcast, the podcast about gaming, movies, and everything nerd. I'm your host, Brandon.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Rob.
And this week, we'll start off with talking to Rob and see what he's been up to.
Yeah, so I decided to get into some even more brand new games that are just a staggering amount of backlog now that I'll never, ever get a chance to finish. So played a little bit of Vampire. I think that's how it's pronounced. So I'll talk a little bit about that later on.
Vampire? Oh, man.
It's Vampire.
Vampire. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, I think there's an audience for it. I just don't know if the audience is everybody, but we'll talk more about it.
Cool.
I played some board game on Sunday. I played against
yes, you did.
Andrew there.
Yeah.
The little Game of Thrones board game. That was a solid 4.5 hours of board gaming goodness.
Loved it.
And then we followed it up with another 2 hours of House on Haunted Hill, or Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Yeah. It was a great time.
Yeah, it was awesome. So, other than that, just a little bit of Vampire. I like it, but there's layers like an onion. So,
okay, well,
like ogres.
Yeah. How about you, Andrew? What you been doing?
A lot of Destiny because of that hype. So much hype, which we'll be getting into later. But me preparing very soon. But me preparing for September for that release, and I still haven't done the new raid layer, so I'm still getting that light level. And I just keep finding out there's more stuff, there's more guns, there's more like quests and sidelines that I haven't done yet that I really want to get into. So I'm still having a lot of fun with that. A little bit of Stardew Valley because that game never ends, and that's it for me.
Cool. Well, I've also bought into some hype and been playing what I haven't finished of Fallout 4, which was the Nuka World expansion. There's a lot, it doesn't. I don't know if Fallout 4 is everybody's favorite, but there's a lot of stuff to do in that game. I didn't realize how many hours I've logged into it. I had like 150 hours without that last.
Oh wow.
DLC. Yeah, that's a good amount.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a good value title, any way you can get Fallout 4, you get a lot of hours out of it for in one playthrough. But that's all I really have had time for. I've been very busy this week, so. But yeah, let's jump right into it and talk about some Destiny, I guess.
Destiny, yay! Everyone excited? You guys excited?
I will let somebody talk about all this cool, nice stuff, and then I will give feedback after.
Yeah, I took the live notes this time. They look a little different from what Andrew might normally put in there. So I'll just read them out verbatim, and then we can kind of talk about where we're at. So,
sure.
Destiny was saying something about September or something.
Means
if you're looking forward to Destiny being a good game, it's not happening now.
Okay, let's just stop right there. All right, let's stop right there. The release and the expansion is called Forsaken. They released a VOD, a vid doc, and they had a live stream telling all of this information out. So let's go through the points, like very, very good points of what Destiny people love and want to see fixed.
Okay, I'll get started with it. So this week at Bungie provided a sneak peek at a new pricing scheme to continue to monetize the player base by selling an annual subscription pass.
Which can be seen as positive.
Now, this annual subscription pass, is this forever or just the second year?
This is what they're trying out this year.
Yeah, this is for 3 releases. I was even more... I was a little more off, but because initially the pricing was misreported as being $60 a year. And I was like, there's no way you're going to get me to drop $60 on annual pass and $40 on an expansion. But they did correct it. Polygon had originally misreported as 60. That got corrected to $35 for the annual pass.
I'm thinking okay, so $35 for the annual pass, which stands for what they're calling 3 live updates, or at least updates of the game.
Curse of Osiris and Warmind was?
No. They don't really know. They don't really specify, but they specify content releases.
Okay.
Content releases. They're not really specifying what exactly. They're specifying like new exotics, new events, new end game stuff, but they're not saying.
Have to get to continue playing Destiny.
No.
Okay.
No,
well,
but
that's kind of true, kind of not.
Yeah, it's kind of true, kind of not. I would say, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like if you are I really feel like if you want to get back into Destiny and you are looking to continue and you want to get the most of what Year 2 has to offer, then you really need to be playing on the same version of Destiny as everyone else,
Right.
which people are likely going to spend the money on the expansion, which I would look for some clarification, but it sounds like you have to buy the expansion to participate in Year 2. Is that
Forsaken?
accurate? Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So does my copy of Destiny 2 not work anymore when Forsaken goes live, or do I just not have access?
No,
to the
you
content?
will have access. You'll be able to play, but you won't have access to the content in Forsaken, just like as Destiny 1 played out to be. So just for clarification and time releases for these premium content releases, that's what they're saying it is Black Armory is.
premium.
Yeah, Black Armory is winter 2018. Joker's Wild spring 2019, and Penumbra is summer 2019. So it's what you kind of say. Like they named these releases for this yearly year pass, the season pass. So they're kind of like Curse of Osiris or whatever Warmind would be. But they're saying in addition to these, we'll have new endgame challenges, weapons, armory, vanities to collect, that sort of thing. What I'm thinking of, and I'll put my perspective is they're moving toward a constant content release. So if you want that premium experience, just like if you any other season pass game like Battlefield or whatever, this is what you would want to pay. That makes sense?
Yep. Yeah,
that's what I'm
definitely
going
does.
for.
I think it will. If it's not really great, I think it will be the end of Destiny 2.
I agree. I'm gonna
And
agree with that. Yeah.
If it ends up being really great, they might end up bringing people back. But I think either way, they're going to have a drop off of people that are just going to say, "Look, I'm not willing to spend the $75 to find out if the game is good again or not."
Right, but I think Destiny 1 they did that. They did that same thing, except it was only
a $30
drop.
pass
Yeah,
to get back into the Taken King, which everyone will acknowledge is Taken King resurrected the game and really brought it up to where it needed to be. Rise of Iron, not so great, but not terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but that was only $30 to get into, and you did have to have all the other expansions. So that was, that's. I think the barrier to entry for this game might be because of the price, because I know there's some deals on Destiny 2 right now. And that's going to be good because you do have to buy Curse of Osiris and Warmind, so it's a $35 season pass or whatever that they have this running under, plus an additional $75 for the new content. So there you're talking $110 on top of whatever your base Destiny 2 game will be.
Right.
I feel like that's probably going to put you at least $150 to come play the new game if you're a new player and you want to check out the hype.
Yeah, so
I see that as a problem.
Well, so with this said, they put all of this out on the table with that live stream that they did, but it was to gain more momentum and, of course, have the community ask more questions, which is what we're doing, right? We don't know what's going to happen, but they're trying this price point out and they're going to see how it goes. With that aside, we don't know what that's all about. We do know what's coming up for this Forsaken release, right?
Yeah, so let me get into it then. So some big things. So there's going to be some better inventory management to store all the things you didn't want from Eververse. 200
additional vault slots. I'll translate for him.
200 more inventory slots for your shaders.
Nope. All shaders will go in. All shaders will go into collections now. So you have management for that. Also,
gun slot realignment, which they've been asking for a while.
Which you can put any gun in any slot you want.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have 3 shotguns.
Triple shotties.
Yep, you can have triple shotties if you want.
Yeah.
We don't have the clarification on what ammo is going to be like.
Yeah,
but
how is that going to affect ammo?
I don't know. We don't know.
Well,
Weapon.
give me $110 and
We'll find out.
Find out.
We'll tell you after you give us money.
New
Yeah,
bow,
you can
a
figure
new
it out for
a new
$75.
longbow, short bow, and medium bow. So you get bows in space now.
That
If you
seems
like.
very ineffective.
They said they kind of hinted.
The sword's also effective, but
They
The
hinted at
swords
like
are super strong in PvP. Maybe the bow will be something similar, like a sniper type of deal. I was more
Right.
impressed by seeing what looked like a Return of Thorn in the video. People were quick to point that out, and it looks like he's using maybe some different type of ammo, but that is a jagged-looking, bony gun, which I only recognize as Thorn.
nice. I didn't see that, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, Thorn
what else?
was my favorite gun. That and Hawkmoon. Those are my two
Hawkmoon.
favorite guns in Destiny 1.
Good stuff. Yeah,
I couldn't tell you what my favorite gun is in Destiny 2. Probably Sweet Business.
good stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else they got? New mod system update. They didn't really specify what that's going to be, but mod system changes.
We don't know if it's good or not. So that's going to be the question. But it couldn't be much worse than it is right now, which is just a +5 to everything, right? I mean, that's just not exciting. You know, you
right.
get a whole bunch of blues, you refine them into a purple, you throw it on top of something, and you get like a void or arc, and it's like a +5.
you're right.
So
But they said something along the lines of where you're more building a suit for yourself that changes your abilities, that sort of thing, which you want to see.
Wait a second, a suit. So like Anthem suit.
Let's not get into other games. We're talking about Destiny right now, okay? They said a story. You had this
yes,
story.
a
introduced to me.
story will be introduced into the game for the
Hey,
first time.
that's
So they're going to take the game and inject a story somehow.
I like how you're like saying these words. Like when you heard these, you put them as plain text there. But I see more into it. I see because they went into the raid, right? They introduced this new area. I forget the name. I'm sorry, but it's the new raid area. But it's also a world that evolves. So as you continue to raid, the place will change over time. It will not be the
It's
same.
called like the Dream Zone or something.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
It looks
so you can fix.
okay. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the Dark Below area, like with all those bridges and everything that were made out of light. It looked kind of similar to that. It's like a coastal looking thing.
Okay.
I'm not totally clear on it. What exactly it's supposed to be.
And that's
It's
supposed
nice
to be, though.
looking art, I guess.
Oh yeah. It's not supposed to like as a reveal. They did a good job of like, what is this? They're gonna do that in the next couple streams. Next weeks ahead, they're going to answer these questions. But they just threw all that stuff out for us now.
Yeah. So one of the things that I didn't quite understand is it sounds like they're adding this thing called collections into the inventory so that you can kind of rearrange your loot. And one of these things will be being able to kind of stash your shaders in a better way. But they're also introducing a feature, which is prominently listed as the 4th on the list of features being introduced as bulk shader deletion. So this is just to delete shaders in mass.
Yes, because right now you can't do that. You can only do one by one.
You know what would fix that problem? Making shaders not a one-time use thing.
You're right. But in this case, that was something that they needed, and they're going to fix it. So.
Yeah, it seems like a fix for something that's not a problem.
Oh, it's definitely a problem.
Just if I have shader, hey, guess what? I can apply it on stuff. That's how it should be. But I understand the monetization is very important, and they need to keep that going, regardless of what their player base feels like. I don't think there's anybody that goes, "Oh yeah, I really dig this new shader system."
I like the shaders. As
You
for
like
the
the
shaders,
shaders,
I like
but
the
not
colors.
the system.
as for the shader system, yeah, that needs work. That's why they're to fix it.
Yeah.
But more importantly, they don't. A lot of players that was like, those are just quality of life changes.
Yeah,
something
that's
like
definitely quality of
something
life.
like that makes a difference is like weapon randomization. That's there, which will prolong the game and its life, and of course allow you to grind for something.
Yeah, so
Right.
I'm assuming
Wep-
this is
I
the
need
God
weapon
roll stuff. Oh, sorry, Brandon.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
randomization.
Yeah.
I want weapon randomization like Borderlands had. That's what I want.
Well, in this case, if you play Destiny 1, weapon randomization was there, so you can get those perks, and you can keep trying to get that gun and get that perfect god roll that you want. And that's what it is. So technically, yes, that's what it is when Borderlands. So that's what they're kind of bringing in from Destiny 1. They might change it too. Who knows?
Yeah, I like how they're bringing more stuff back in from Destiny 1 and making the game more like Destiny 1, because that's really where they should have started.
That's where they should have started.
Yeah, everything that's there, because they showed very easily you can just go from year to year. I mean, if you made a mistake on overpowering people one year, you can just be like, hey, look, this whole attack happened. Destiny 2 becomes, the tower's destroyed and everything, and hey, all those weapons you had are now gone or whatever, or they're reduced in power, and now light level is 400. There are ways that this could have been done without making a whole new game with less stuff. But
this is what you have, and people love it.
This is what we have.
And people will enjoy it when it comes out. That's for sure.
Or else what?
Or else
I
the
thought you were
game
threatening.
won't.
Sorry.
No.
Or else.
No, the idea is that they're bringing this stuff back just like any other game evolves. I mean, I'll be honest, like the community itself was very confusing in their delivery of stuff, because it seemed like more anger, and they Bungie's not going to be receptive to anger. So the idea is that if being more constructive, and probably from that summit later, earlier this year, they got all of this out of it. And of course, an introduction to, this is something completely new, Gambit, which is a new mode that they're going to bring. This is not something that the community asked for or anything. This was a complete experiment from Bungie that is going to be a new system in September in Forsaken, which is an amazing mode. From what I'm seeing. Do you know what it is?
Gambit?
Yes.
I know what Gambit is. I know I'll be playing Gambit.
I meant like the mode.
Not
in
really.
Destiny.
I just know it's going to be a Guardian Con.
Yes, it's going to be at Guardian Con, and it's a PvE VP. So it's a player versus player, and it's also a player versus environment. The idea is that there's two teams. You will have your own sections. You will fight hordes. It's a horde mode, and you fight waves of enemies. But the idea is that every team will be able to do two different things on their sides. Gather motes to basically push enemies onto the other team, or you can send a player through onto the other side and wreck their team and affect their team. So the idea is like you have to make those different choices, but the end goal is to defeat the end boss as quickly as possible. And that's going to be shown in, like I said, E3, and it's going to be shown at Guardian Con, which I'm excited. I'll be there and to play. And all the people that from the summit stated that this is a great mode.
They're under NDA. They're not allowed to say that.
Huh?
They're under NDA. They're not allowed to say that.
I think they were. I think they said like whatever mode they play, it's like it was great. So it was fun. In that case, I want to bring your hype level a little bit higher, but I know that you have all of this. I paid the money, and I want to make sure that I get the right game out of it.
I can look past having to spend money to see if a game is going to end up being good or not, or if it's going to be the game that I really was hoping to get in the first place. But I just think it's like so ballsy to just be like, all right, $75
more bucks.
$75 more dollars. It's just, a $30 expansion. Okay. Yeah. That's just like a little bit of a little jab, but 75, that's steep to just say, all right, we need your faith for another year. And
you can do a la carte as well. I'm sure, right?
I wonder if there's going to be anything removed from it, because I know they've been doing roadmaps and stuff, and they've been very, transparent about what they're going to introduce into the game. But they've also been very transparent that a lot of features have been sliding. And now all these features that have been sliding have slid behind the pay gate.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, I mean, like the mod system was supposed to happen in like March or April, right? The reworked mod system, 1.2 or 1.3, I think.
Okay.
And now it's slid behind a $75 pay gate. You won't be able to do this without buying Forsaken and trying that out.
Forsaken's not $75. Forsaken's
and just to be clear, all right. So yes, you can get a copy of Forsaken, just the expansion, standalone for $40. So they've put it behind a $40 pay gate. I think that's fair to say.
Oh, actually, no. Okay, so this year too, Forsaken is an update 2.0,
Mm-hmm.
right? Everyone's probably gonna get that, right?
Yeah.
They don't need
Well-
the Forsaken. They don't need to buy Forsaken. Forsaken is the content, not these updates. From what I know, everyone's gonna get these updates.
Yeah.
But if you buy Forsaken, you will have the raid. You will have all of this other, probably all of these other guns and raid gear and that sort of thing. But everyone's gonna
Will
get.
I be able to
these
get higher light
changes.
levels? Like, okay, so like help me out because I don't really remember how this all worked last year because I bought the expansions. But let's say, for instance, I say, okay, well, I want to see what 2.0 is going to be like, but I'm not going to buy Forsaken. So I won't have access to the raid or the new content,
Right.
but the quality of life stuff will be still introduced.
Yes.
However, I won't be able to get any of the gear that would put me into checking out the higher end content because it won't be there.
Yeah, I would say, like, if you think about it, like any other WoW expansion or something, or any other expansion that you buy, you're locked behind. You can't get to that story content, end game, that sort of thing, or new maps or Crucible, that sort of thing. But you will be able to have the updates that everyone else has for like patches or whatever it may be, those quality of life changes. That's what I'm thinking.
Say,
and that's what I'm saying.
I'm just gonna say it's a very neutered experience. It's a game I don't know I'd want to play that I wasn't on the same level as everyone else being able to check out the content.
It's like, you're not going to play WoW at a previous map. Like, you're not going to be like, I'm just going to play at at Mist of Pandaria. I don't want to play.
Yeah, Cataclysm was my favorite expansion. I don't roll past level 70 or level 80.
Yeah, so Thrust confirmed.
You're not going to want to do that.
Thrust confirmed in chat as well. So everyone is going to get the quality of life stuff, but they're not going to get the raid, gambit, those new weapons, those specific things that you would pay for.
My argument isn't that you don't get that stuff. It's that it doesn't mean anything because you're not doing the same content. Like, for instance, if I had seen the reworked mod system prior to this thing launching, I would have been able to experience it as part of Warmind, right? Yeah. And that's all I'm saying is that originally, roadmap rolls out, they say, we're going to do this as part of 1.3, which I think is Warmind, or that might have been like in between Osiris and Warmind. But we just didn't get to actually see that. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse here, but I'm just going to say it's not sitting well with me overall the way it's being rolled out. But it sounds like a lot of people are very excited about it.
A lot of people are,
yourself included.
I am very excited, and I would, and this is go back to like a year ago when everyone was complaining about Destiny. Is like, this will happen. A September release, which they did the same in the Sacred King, will happen. Everyone's gonna be back. More people will be coming in, and there's gonna have more deals. Like, buy Destiny 1 for $10, have the expansions for $30. Here's the season pass. So basically, your Destiny Complete Edition. They're gonna sell that in a bundle, right? They're gonna have new people coming in, and they're gonna have light level boosts. Same as like any other MMO would, so they can get them to the end game quicker. They did this in Destiny 1. They will do it again, and it'll bring a lot of people in because now it's on PC, and that's what I'm seeing more. More PC people are coming to Destiny 2. Okay. So I'm hype. I think all of this can be explained better in the VOD and the stream that they did. It was a very good stream. I would highly recommend people watching it. And of course, next week's they'll be unlocking, or they'll be also discussing this, and of course in E3 because they said the Gambit's going to be in E3 as well. Destiny hype.
From a point, to kind of finish it off, from the point of view of somebody who's not that big into Destiny, that I bought into Destiny 2 hoping that I wouldn't have to wait a year for the game to get where it's supposed to be, and that's what it sounds like is happening. So I'm kind of on the skeptical side of spending more money towards it. But,
and I think everyone should, and then just wait until it comes out and then see how good it is. That's all. That's all. That's my opinion on it too. For the people that don't believe that it is a game that people want, let it come out, experience, watch some streams, get some good opinions on it, get my opinion, and maybe you come back.
Yep, that's a good level-headed approach.
Yeah. Next week we could be talking about how they'll have to catch up to things like Division 2 and.
Yeah, that is true. Our whole perception of games is going to be different next week.
Yep, next week will be different because we'll have all that stuff come out, and we'll see what the other quote unquote looter shooter games are going to be like. So
I'm excited for that too.
All right, Brandon, I hear you're going to spread a damn lie someone told you.
I can't wait for this.
This could be a damn lie. But it is looking like Kingdom Hearts 3 is supposed to be releasing between October and December of this year.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah, I put roll eyes right after that.
But you know, I would say when it comes to Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy for that matter,
Right.
don't expect it to come out until you're physically holding it in your hand and putting it into your CD drive to play. But,
Especially something like this that's been waiting for how long again? We just keep talking about this.
It's an Xbox One launch title.
I don't think they said launch title.
10
But
years?
it was featured in the. It was announced when those consoles came out,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
we're already ending the life cycle for those consoles.
I think that might be a little premature, but yeah, definitely the first iteration of it. You know, yeah, I agree with you on that.
So, Brandon, so with this news, does that mean that there's going to have something in E3? Given that they could release.
I would
This
say we're
soon.
probably going to see something.
Okay. That's a prediction right there. That's
We're
a,
probably going to see some stuff. You know, we've already got
I'll believe it when I see it.
we've got two quote unquote gameplay trailers with the Toy Story and Monsters Inc. stuff.
Right,
a couple
yeah.
months ago.
Oh, I'm hyped. I'll
Yeah.
buy it.
I'm buying it, yeah.
I'm all in.
But I think
I just don't believe it.
like Walmart didn't drop it, right? So
That's true. Walmart Canada did not link
Walmart
this,
would
so-
have dropped this. So that would have been the biggest news of all the Walmart drop was that game if they did, right?
If they did, yep.
If they did.
Because they've
Okay.
never been wrong.
It's true.
so. We'll see. Apparently, Thrust got out is saying they will tell us the release date at E3
Oh, Thrust. Okay, I gotcha.
because it is
Okay.
confirmed that it's going to be there.
You've seen gameplay of YouTubers playing it. Oh, all right.
Mm.
The plot thickens.
Plot thickens.
We'll see.
We'll see indeed.
I want to believe.
But let's talk about something else real quick that's leaking a little bit. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is the name of the next game. It has been confirmed. No release date or anything yet. We'll definitely see it at E3. It's going to be set in Greece. We're not positive on the time frame. Some are saying it could be a direct sequel to Origins. It's going to feature Biok, and it'll be it'll be in Greece, or it's going to be like more ancient Greece, sort of like a God of War type of thing, where you're dealing with the gods and the mythos and that kind of thing. But so some context clues from the kind of the official logo and stuff. It has more of a Roman influence with it, so people are thinking it's going to be more like the Roman occupation of Greece, which would line up to about where Origin ends. So
All
That
right.
makes sense. Having just finished Origin, I don't know if I'm ready for Odyssey just yet. I need a break. No matter
It's a good
how
game.
good it was, I need a break.
the big, it could come out this year. I hope it has enough polish on it. I'd rather wait for a really well polished Assassin's Creed to come out than a back to the yearly
showed
cycle.
some screenshots. They showed some screenshots. It looks, you can tell they're sharing assets between Origins and Odyssey. A lot of the marble columns and the architecture and everything is very much carried on. I think they have lined it up to be a yearly release again. Yeah, I don't love when they do that, but that's how they make their money. So
That's how they make money. But I was hoping for more good quality Assassin's Creed games coming out because I think Origins is like in the works for 3 years or so, something like that.
Well, here's the question: Did Assassin's Creed Origins have a season pass?
yeah,
Okay, are they still releasing stuff for it?
No.
no,
The
Okay,
last
so
DLC
it
came
stopped.
out.
Okay, so then it
yeah,
could,
there is
DLC
no more content coming out.
it
They
could
have put a
possibly
lot of
come out.
stuff
Yeah,
to it.
and it could possibly come out this year if it could be an Ubisoft like big thing reveal. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that they would go a whole year. Thrust, I see what you're saying, that it's supposed to be every other year, but I don't know if I totally buy into that. I think it might be like a TikTok type of release that they might go for, where they're doing, like major innovation, quasi sequel. Okay, now we're going to another time frame because this everything I'm seeing on Odyssey looks just like Origin in terms of like the architecture and the models.
They could go off of the popularity of Odyssey or of Origins and sell another sequel just based on the popularity of the last game, and then people could get upset, disappointed, and then be like, okay, the next game will be even be more innovative like Origin was, and do that kind of thing, and do like you said, Rob, and have a really innovative game with a copycat sequel, big break. Innovative game, copycat sequel, big break, that kind of thing.
I don't mind those copycat sequels either. Sometimes that's like a really good, nice, refined, follow-up.
Yeah, it takes all the good stuff and like fixes all the broken things that are in the previous one. Yeah.
It's also weird to think that now that on the heels of God of War, people are going to be wanting another experience, like a single-player action-adventure experience that they could just capitalize on. Because there's not one coming out, really? If you think Red Dead, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I just think God of War is such a different expectation that goes around that. God of War, you're really looking for that cinematic. I don't know, just like that fast.
Was the previous God of War cinematic though?
Yeah, definitely. Think about all the QuickTime events. They did a ton of things where it was like these larger than life things that you're fighting. You're swinging around. The Chaos Blades everywhere. True. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. That's a good point.
There's a lot of single player games coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, there'll be something, I think, but I just don't know if Odyssey is what everyone's craving right now. We'll see.
Okay, cool.
But I think they did good with Origins, so they deserve a follow-up.
Still got to play it.
And we're going to kind of stick with the whole talking about maybe waiting some years, and that's because Blizzard, I don't know if it was purposely or accidentally, but they kind of spilled the beans that they're working on a Diablo game. They didn't say in what capacity or what style game, but they had some job listings up for it. And that's a thing. They're working on a new Diablo game of some kind.
Diablo 3's been out for a while.
A long while.
What,
2012? Yeah. 2011, maybe?
But I think they announced Diablo 3 like maybe 6 years before it came out or something. Like,
did they?
It was a crazy long period. Let me look it up to give you exact facts. But it was a crazy long period of, hey, this game's coming out before it actually came out.
I think it had some really negative reviews from the people that were beta testing it. And it ended up getting pulled back in for a little bit of rework. Now it's been, possibly a decade since I heard that. So, I want to say when it first came out, people were not thrilled with the original implementation of it.
I bought it and I wasn't thrilled with it.
Yeah, but then the development started in 2001. It was announced in 2008, and it came out in 2012. So
Blizzard
4 years.
Take some time.
Yeah.
When was it announced?
2008.
Okay, so it's like 4. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember in 2008. I remember it was like on Penny Arcade or something. Like people had played it and were like, there's like problems with it.
Which with the release Diablo 3 wasn't that spectacular either.
No, it wasn't.
It made a lot of hardcore Diablo fans very upset.
Mm-hmm.
That's because of the auction house, but then they fixed it.
It was the real money auction house. Yeah, that was a problem.
But Diablo 3 is a great game. Now it's a fantastic game.
Yeah,
it's very polished now.
Very polished. And then for a new Diablo game to come out, hopefully they learn their lessons, right? And then they just build upon it. Right. So
yeah, they'll figure out something to do with the. I don't want to see them shoehorn PvP back into it because I don't feel like Diablo's ever really been a PvP game, even though they've had like duels and ways of making it happen. It really is like a co-op, solo, campaign experience and grind and repeat. Yeah, so I hope they stick with that.
That's my loot fix game right there.
Oh, those goblins. You get like that lightning thing, and you hit those goblins, and you get like the special goblins that drop everything.
Yeah, most rewarding experience ever. Yeah,
yeah. You run into a room full of goblins, you got the lightning thing going on. It's just you're there for hours picking stuff up.
I don't want to see a game that's like Diablo 3 where the end game is go back through all these same maps, through all these same levels, kill the same mobs 50 million times for 8 seasons to get different color variations of gear. I was not a fan of how they did quote unquote end game for Diablo.
Really? I was a
What
fan.
about the Nexus?
The
randomly generated stuff?
You mean the Rift?
Oh, the Rift, yeah.
Rift gates, yeah.
Okay.
I just don't like that. Like, it's not, I mean, I get it if you want to introduce some kind of like post-game stuff for a game like that, but it wasn't. I wouldn't want to keep playing. I did maybe 1 or 2 seasons and was like, yes, this is the same thing.
I did that. I did
liked
that too.
co-op, and my love for Diablo 3 grew stronger on the Xbox.
It was good.
And I know that sounds weird, but it was the best way to play it was with a controller.
It was really good.
And over like Xbox Live or PlayStation Network, where you're chatting with a buddy and playing that way.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it too. Let's hope so.
It's perfect for a controller, especially the Demon Hunter. I never felt right with that on mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I'm wanting more of a, I guess, Diablo 2, very deep, story-rich kind of game.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see. They might take because I know what Path of Exile is that the big.
That's it. That's the big one right now.
Is a
right?
big Diablo-like game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that features a lot of PvP.
That features a lot of building of your character.
Yeah.
Like a whole ton of building on your character.
Oh my god, that customization, that tech tree is ridiculous.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's crazy. And there's like the end game on end game, as far as I know.
You could have a wallpaper of it and not be able to see like any of the details. Like you still wouldn't be able to pick out like what's going on in there.
So they might be shooting for something like that because I think Path of Exile is pretty popular right now.
It is. Yeah.
Yep. It's free to play.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's free to play. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Free to play. It's got like 20 different classes or something. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
you're good.
It's yeah. I was watching co-play this past week, and I guess there's some new build or something or some new release that just came out where he's able to just be like a storm witch or something. I think it was called Arc Witch, and basically it just means walk into every room and like everyone explodes in the lightning. Yeah.
Satisfying, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's satisfying.
Cool.
So tell me about this witch stuff.
Yeah, so Asmodee, they are kind of reviled in the board game world because they've been acquiring the digital rights to a bunch of very popular board games and have put out some pretty lackluster mobile apps that use the licensing and everything for it. So it's kind of hit or miss. Some of them are really well implemented. Some are really crap. They just did not do a good job with it. But they just put up some screenshots of the new Carcassonne board game that they're putting out on the Switch, and it looks sweet. Like it looks really nice, and they're already showing multiplayer for it over Switch. So that game, if you haven't played it, it's basically a way to build farmlands in like the French countryside. And I know that sounds not particularly enjoyable, but it's the puzzling together aspect of it, and the fact that it's competitive that makes it a very fun and interesting game to play. So it's perfect, I think, for a digital implementation, and it looks like they're really doing it right here. It's 3D. You can look at it from different angles, and super clean and bright. It's a nice looking port so far. So I'd be curious to see it.
If you haven't played Carcassonne, it's a very easy game to get into. Like, it's very simple. And then, of course, at the very end, it's like you calculate all the points, but you have to kind of build to that. And that's where the aspect of, strategizing comes into play. But it's a very good game. If you haven't played a board game, you could probably get it cheap now, right? Carcassonne? I would think. There's more board
Carcassonne's one of those like classics. It's been out for 20 years or so, and like Catan.
Yeah,
Catan
exactly like Catan.
has been out forever. Everyone has a copy, and it's still like $50.
It's still $50.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't get it.
Yeah.
As far as what you can do.
I like to see a digital implementation of it too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Switch is a good platform for the
anything
board games or party atmosphere. So that's good.
Yeah.
Stuff.
We have a question in chat whether or not we've seen the Kickstarter trailer for a game called Temtem. And,
I have not.
That's from VIP Thrust, who graced us again this week with his presence. So good to see you, Thrust.
Good to see you.
I've kind of got it going on the side right now. It's kind of like Fortnite meets Pokemon.
Huh?
Yeah, and by Fortnite I mean kind of like the art style looks somewhat similar to that, but it's all like house decorating and world building, and you got a little pocket monster running around that you fight against other pocket monsters. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're hit with a cease and desist, but but it looks interesting, and if you like Pokemon, it looks like you can pick this up for PC.
A Pokemon MMO ripoff. Hey, Pokemon hasn't done the MMO, so it's too late now for them.
I don't think
Maybe.
it's MMO, but there is definitely like evolutions for the monsters, and there's breeding, and I guess it is MMO, huh? Yeah, it is MMO.
I'm thinking there's going to be a big letter from Nintendo arriving in their mailbox.
Could be.
Or they buy them out and actually just rewrite every skin to be Pokemon. That would be good. Hey, I always wanted a Pokemon MMO, so
Yeah.
that'd be amazing.
They're only looking to raise $70,000, so I don't know what that's really going to get them.
Quality.
Quality. Oh yeah.
It looks all right, though. I mean, I'll be honest, the graphics look nice.
That's good. We'll see. Yeah. Keep us updated, Thrust. Keep us updated. All right.
Yep. Yeah, Thrust, you're our official Temtem correspondent, so we need updates from the field as often as possible.
So speaking of Fortnite-like games, Fortnite itself is going to remove jetpacks. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And nerf shotguns. That seems to be pretty big news, honestly.
Yeah, shotgun's like the meta, isn't it?
That is a meta. Yeah. Actually,
if you get a
dual wielding
shotgun, you blast
shotguns.
someone in the face and it's done.
Yeah. I see a lot of I guess pro people, or not pro, but like a lot of streamers use dual shotguns where they just shoot and they switch and they shoot again, like real quick. So two shotguns at once. So if you figure that's not going to be meta anymore if they nerf it. So that's pretty big. I wonder what the Fortnite community is thinking about that. I don't play Fortnite, so I don't really know.
I can't imagine they are missing the jetpacks, but the shotguns are probably going to change a lot of things.
So they're going to change the meta, but the community's about to probably get a little bit bigger because it's all but confirmed for the Switch. There's been some icons spotted in like the store code or something. They've seen Fortnite icons. I think there's like some leaked documents or something that have Fortnite listed for the Switch. But yeah, I think we talked about this before that we would probably be on the Switch at some point. But yeah, there it is. Fortnite will probably, I think, with the Fortnite being on Switch, it's I think literally on any platform that you could think of gaming on.
So my wife plays Fortnite and plays the Switch a lot, so I'm just gonna have to get on a Switch. That's the end. That's the end. That's the only solution right now. So I'm just gonna have to get one.
There's no other way to handle this.
Well, we get motion controls for Fortnite.
For Fortnite building?
Oh no! Oh my god!
I can't
do this. Build.
Sliding through the little blueprint and
be awesome streaming material right there. I would love
that. Comment in the chat about the Fortnite being pretty casual and they don't necessarily understand why it makes people so sweaty. I think the gunplay is not necessarily very active, but that building changes everything because you'll beat people by building over them.
Oh, definitely. You could suck at the shooting aspect, but if you can build, you're gonna have the advantage.
Yeah, you can turtle up, make it happen.
Make it happen, Captain.
That's a lot of video game news that we had.
It's not even E3 yet.
It's not even E3. Whoa.
Yeah, so much for not a whole lot of news this week, but
it's mostly Destiny stuff. Let's be honest. Half
that is true. We did
Destiny.
Yeah, Destiny 2 ruined another podcast.
Another good podcast.
Yeah.
Tell me about something that sucks out life from other things.
What?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
good transition.
I know where you're going, but that is so tough to as a
If you don't know what you're talking, if you don't know what we're talking about.
We already talked about Destiny 2, Brandon. I'm not gonna.
Okay.
Vampire. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. Yeah. Vampire. So it's put out by Don't Nod Studios. You guys familiar with them?
Nope.
No.
They make donuts?
They
Got 'em.
In addition to making donuts, they also make a game called Life is Strange,
Okay.
which is pretty popular. They also made another game called Remember Me, which was a kind of a flashy kung fu, I want to say like French game, where it did some pretty cool stuff with like some cybernetics and everything. So they're a varied development studio. They do a lot of different types of games. So it was interesting to see that this came from them. So I'm going to just summarize it as a vampire-based mystery game / hospital simulator. And I'll throw another slash of like crappy action RPG on top of that. So there's some social elements in the game where you pick who you're going to kill, because you have to kill somebody, and you can't just not kill anybody. Although you can hold out, eventually you'll just be overtaken. You've got to go and, kill someone. So you interact with a lot of the humans throughout the game, and you can kind of understand, okay, are they good people? Are they bad people? You uncover more and more things about them. And of course, because it's kind of a social switcheroo type of game, the people that you kind of peg for being saintly end up being, pretty bad in their own right. And then you've got people that are considered pretty scummy who sometimes end up becoming, redeemed a bit. So you feel bad about, taking their life. So taking their life is the only way to increase your vampire powers. And you need your vampire powers to be increased because you got to fight vampire hunters and other vampires that show up around the hospital trying to come in. So you end up needing to kill someone. And that's where the interesting portion comes in, because you kind of grow attached to some of these people. You feel bad for their predicaments in life, or you kind of feel that they're, maybe not deserving of what they're getting. And I don't want to throw any spoilers or anything out there, but it's you make your own decisions. So the problem with the game is that there's some action portions where you actually run around and you can fight, and those are not good. They're not good at all. And the game is published by Focus Interactive, which makes kind of B-grade games, is how I would describe it. Like games like Technomancer or Styx, Master of Shadows. Games that are just not AAA, but they're not necessarily really indie or shovelware.
Kind of like the high end.
I'd say they're
indie.
A games, not AAA games, right? Like they look nice and they've got some good things, but there's something off about them. Like they don't move right, or not quite enough is in there. So the action's not awesome in terms of when you have to fight. So I really hate fighting in the game because it's like a chore, because the investigative portions are really well done. And another game that Focus Interactive did was the Sherlock Holmes games that recently came out on PC, The Devil's Daughter, and I forgot the other one. But those were fun, and they had like a nice fact gathering missions, and that's what this game kind of emulates too. So it leverages some of that, and they're really fun to do. So I've been playing about 5 hours over the past 2 days, which is pretty big for me. It released on Tuesday, so it's a brand new game.
Yep.
I'm gonna say at this point I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10, and the reason I'm putting it there is that it's above average, I think, to anybody. But if you're really into kind of the social aspects of it, or the maybe some of the murder mystery side of things, you might really, really like this game. You'll need to overlook the lackluster action ports. Yeah. Yeah, the action parts are really bad. The crafting is not anything to write home about, but it tells a good story. The writing is always really good, and the voice acting is nice. So and it's like a bloody vampire game too. So it's like it gets you if you're Gorehound too. It's really good for that.
So definitely
Andrew,
mature.
Definitely mature.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So Andrew, how did that stand up to everybody else?
Yeah. So the only game that was notable this week for release was Vampire, and it's on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. Now on Metacritic, basically around the same score is basically like that average, like 73. That's Metacritic score, and then the user score is 7.1. So that was more closer to what you rated to.
Like just a little bit higher than what Rob gave.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
just a little bit. Now I think for me, I might be more in that 7.5 kind of range because I like this type of game and I can overlook the bad action parts, but I would have a lot of difficulty recommending it to people that would say, "Hey, I want to go and like smash some, vampire brains in." Well, you're not going to get that, or it's not going to be fun. There's better games to do that.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to bring out those game scores of the week. I look forward to kind of seeing the rundown of what came on, and for people that might be listening in the future, they can look back and see what people thought of games in the distant past.
Yeah, I said this week was not too much. But I did see. I just wanted this last thing about video games was for PS Plus users, they got The Surge for the free game this month. The complete edition.
Another Focus Interactive game.
Which is basically like your Dark Souls, but for in the future, like steampunk future.
And much worse.
Apparently. But either way, it's
they got
there.
Bloodborne. They got Bloodborne and they got Metal Gear. That's
enough.
Like, those are the ones you go crazy over. The Surge.
It's free. That's all I'm saying.
It's not a free game. And it was premium title. I mean, not premium title, but it was a $60 title 9 months ago, a year ago, somewhere like that. So that's recent. If you skipped over it because of the price, you get a chance to go back and check it out. And it does have a neat idea to it that you can it has these like exoskeleton cyborg armors, and you can either choose to do like a hulking, like big bruiser one, or like a very agile dexterity type of build. So you're not limited to the type of fighting style that you do in the game. You can either be, quick and maybe a little bit weaker, or a little bit slower and super strong. So it's a nice dynamic you don't normally get in a Souls-like game.
All right. Well, do we want to talk about this next little note thing here? It's kind of spoiler.
Yeah, it is a little bit, and maybe they are what they are, right? So they're rumors. So take this with a grain of salt. Don't really know a whole lot about it, and I'm going to make sure not to talk too much about this. But if you watched, I think we can spoil Infinity War now, right? We're good to go there.
I'm good to go.
I don't care. But
Warning! Spoiler review right here. There you go.
Yeah, it's been a month and a half since it came out. If you didn't know that these two characters weren't in it, then
go watch
it. Stop listening now if you think
you
need to wait for this to come out to watch, or fast forward 2 minutes because that's all this is going to take.
Yeah.
So they had some leaked art for Infinity War, and it did show on the poster that Ant-Man and Hawkeye were going to be joining us.
It looks sort of like a merchandise poster or something. Maybe you might see for like, I don't know, like any kind of merchandise.
Like a toy line almost.
Toy line, yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Like you would walk into Walmart and see this kind of poster set up or something on the end of a aisle or something.
Yeah, that's the only spoilery thing I think they had. The other thing was that Thanos had a sword. It sounds kind of awesome.
Yeah.
That does sound awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. In the pictures, it shows all the heroes that are alive at the end of the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so don't go looking for the picture if you don't want to be spoiled on that. But yeah, Ant-Man and Hawkeye, for those that don't know, wasn't in the first movie. They are mentioned. They're just not in it. So probably some good reason for that, and maybe they'll talk about that later on. They also showed like a new look for Hulk and War Machine.
Yeah, the Hulk's wearing clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
He's got, it looks like a sort of like a space jumpsuit kind of deal going on. So maybe they invented Hulk some clothes that actually stretch with him when he transforms or something, so they don't have to always have
Maybe.
naked Hulk.
Is that on the comics at all or anything? Or
There's such a thing called unstable molecules that the Fantastic Four wears, and they're basically that's why you never see them in like ripped up clothing or anything, because
Right.
the unstable molecules can be reformed around whatever they had. So that's why the thing could go from like normal guy in a speedo to Rocky guy in a speedo,
Gotcha.
and still be okay. And more importantly, the Human Torch wouldn't like flame off
Actually,
and just be
but-
like totally have no clothes on.
Yeah, yeah, and the War Machine, yeah, he definitely got a different looking suit going on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Iron Man's had a number of revisions to his armor as the movies
But
have
his
gone
suit
on.
stays the same.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, War Machine getting an update sounds cool. I always like War Machine.
Thrust, no, he does not have a shield. I guess all your joke.
And I don't like when spoiling that Batman died in Infinity War.
Oh, how
Alright.
could you?
Alright.
How could
R.I.P.
you?
Batman. All right, so end of the spoilerish. We'll stop talking about it now. That's almost 2 minutes. Good
Yeah.
estimate. But the trailer for Bumblebee came out. I don't know if you guys watched that.
Oh boy.
I did.
And
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the B movie sequel. I'm talking about Transformers.
The B movie sequel, please, please.
But this looks like a very different type of Transformers than we've seen before. It doesn't have the big action, explosions, flips, and that kind of sexy
Oh, it
people
will.
all over the place. I don't know. The trailer was kind of more focused on the relationship between the girl and Bumblebee, like kind of their relationship. So Transformers 6 is canceled. They're not, at this point, they're not working on another main series Transformers. So what we may have here is maybe a soft reboot of the series, starting with this Bumblebee movie. He's a lot smaller. He's not gigantic like in the other movies. He's actually maybe like 12 foot tall or something, compared to like the 2-story building size they were in the last couple movies.
He's also an actual VW bug,
Yep,
like
he's
from the
actually
original,
VW bug.
and not a. What was he? Like
Camaro.
a Camaro.
Yeah.
That's Merca right there for you.
America. But yeah, so yes,
I know a Transformers movie I would love to see, but unfortunately the rights for it would be totally thrown apart. But there was a bounty hunter named Death's Head that used to be in the old Marvel Transformers comics, and he was absolutely awesome. It was a British UK Marvel Knights release, and this guy would just he had like every weapon like you could think of just like strapped to his back, and he hunted Transformers. He was like a bounty hunter for him, and he'd run around like looking for like Galvatron or Optimus Prime or something.
Sort of kind of what we've seen in the last Transformers. But
Maybe they kind of ripped it off. I did not see the last one.
yeah, that was definitely a thing.
Mm.
Or maybe the one even before that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, Death's Head is owned by Marvel now, so there's no chance for it to be in a Transformers movie. But
Gotcha.
yeah,
Thrust, yes, it is a prequel. It is before people knew about Transformers.
Before Shia LaBeouf.
Before Shia LaBeouf.
That's right.
So, yeah. But kind of tying into the whole Transformers things, we talked about the toys that made us last week, and I've actually
great series on Netflix, right?
Yep, on Netflix. I've actually caught all the episodes except the last half of Hello Kitty. So, did you manage to check it out there, Rob?
No, I haven't started watching yet. It's on the list. I got to finish watching Cobra Kai again.
Again. Me too. Oh man, so good.
Good show. I'm
yeah.
glad you guys like Cobra Kai so much.
That was a fantastic suggestion.
It was the
Yeah.
perfect series. I have that up in my favorites with Stranger Things.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. See,
Stranger
so
Things
like
is better, but it's
you're
still up there.
you're kind of hesitant when I first told you about it because the way you kind of acted wasn't really for sure, and then I'm glad.
Well, yeah.
I saw it was produced by Will Smith. And I went, I don't know. Like, I don't want to see his kid jumping around. But once I realized really what it was, a continuation from the very first one. But we've already talked about it. It's a 9 out of 10. It's a great series. Go watch
Toys
it.
That Made Us. We talk about Star Trek, Transformers, Lego and Hello Kitty. Really cool. I like the first three. Probably a lot more than I like some of the episodes in the last half of the series. There's a lot of things I didn't know about some of these series. Like Transformers started in Japan, and it was actually two rival robot companies that kind of Hasbro went and found and like kind of took ideas from both and created Transformers out of them. And they almost went under until they came out with the dinosaur versions of Transformers, which is kind of when the movies kind of fell out.
Yeah. Did they talk about GoBots?
They did. Talked about GoBots and how GoBots and Transformers had a thing going on.
The ripoff. Like, GoBots were half the price.
And GoBots came out 6 months before Transformers did.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah.
They were your lamer. But they all formed into bigger robots.
Yeah.
So if you think of like the Voltron, he forms the left arm, and I form the head.
Yeah, it shows some of that sort of. Like how Voltron came, like it doesn't say those shows, but like you can kind of see where those ideas came from. It has like the Power Rangers Megazord type stuff. You can see where that comes from.
Yeah.
They talk about Bandai having their robot stuff, and that's kind of where the Gunpla and Gundam stuff is from. So really cool stuff.
So GoBots were the PUBG of the Battle Royale series. Basically.
I would say they're probably GoBots is more like the what was that game called? H1Z1 or Royal Heights or whatever it was called.
They felt very generic.
Yeah, gotcha.
And
Radical Heights.
Radical Heights. That's what
Lego was kind of going under in the late 2000s, 2010s.
Yeah.
It was apparently supposed to go under. Lego movie kind of saved them.
Yeah, Lego movie and Lego digital games.
Yeah.
Lego Star Wars and all that saved them.
They don't talk about those. But yeah, surprisingly that this kind of last generation of kids almost killed Lego.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were on a downhill stride since the 90s apparently.
Aren't you the last generation of kids?
No. Kinda, sort of. I guess it depends on what you mean by last generation.
Yeah, I wouldn't have forgiven you guys if you killed off Legos.
But yeah, I like Bionicle was kind of like one of those things that came out that's kind of saved Lego. I kind of forgot that Bionicles were Legos. That was kind of cool to hear about those.
They kind of just started running out of ideas, like Ninjago and like Dinosaur Ninjas.
It talks
and then,
about
like,
Ninjago. It talks about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I remember the old like medieval castle building Legos and just how cool those were. And those are really those are amazing because you get just foot soldiers and stuff. You have like the dungeons you'd build out. It was really cool.
There is not a modern combat or like warfare focused Lego. It's always, if it's involving violence, it's always fantasy based. There's no army set for Legos. Because apparently Legos kind of came out during World War II in Denmark, and like their whole thing was, we're not going to, focus on the war side of what's going on in the world. We're going to focus on peaceful thing.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah.
And that's stuck through. Yeah.
Yeah. They only had the night, like Rob said, they had the night stuff come out, and then Star Wars sets came out, and they're like, oh, it's not really violence based because it's fantasy based in another time period. But yeah, there's no like army Lego sets. And the reason there's like so many rip-off of Legos, like Mega Bloks and stuff, is because Lego's a bunch of idiots and forgot to re-up on their patent.
So
So the patent dropped, and they just made a ton of rip-offs.
There you go.
Also contributed to their big downfall. But yeah, as a series, I don't think I re-rated the series last time, but overall, I'm going to give the whole series an 8 out of 10 because it's really cool to learn about these franchises, hear the history of them, and kind of see like you almost lost some of your beloved toys at some point in time.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I remember the He-Man one. It was something like they made like $400 million one year, and the next year they made like $1 million.
The toys,
that's crazy.
Like, toy market's lucrative. It's lucrative.
Yeah, but it will fall off in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Right.
It can go from being top of the world to nothing very quickly.
It relies a lot on movies, and like every major comic or game back in the day had or toys had a comic book that go with it, and now it's kind of the movie. Every big toy series has a movie.
That makes sense, right? Gotcha.
Yeah. So did they talk
That's cool
anything
stuff.
about the new Lego movie?
They didn't say anything about Lego Movie 2. They didn't.
Okay. So yeah, we have a comment here from Thrust asking if we've seen the trailer for the new Lego movie. Have you guys seen that yet?
I have not. Haven't actually watched the Lego Movie or
What?
the Lego Batman movie. Yeah.
I would go watch the Lego movie at least. That one's really good.
Well, a lot of people say Lego Batman's the best Batman movie made.
I've heard that. I just haven't. Ever
It's
watched
definitely
it.
worth watching. It's entertaining. They're fun. They're like frenetic though. Like
They're
I felt
different, yeah.
exhausted, but when I finished watching it, like it wore me out.
As for the new Lego movie preview, I was kind of confused by it still, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure the preview for Lego movie was confusing too. So we'll see. I'd probably watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
So
It looks interesting. It's got a Mad Max vibe to it, at least
Yep.
in parts. So that's kind of cool.
All right, let's start talking about some comics.
Sure. Yeah. So I opened it up on Discord and said, "What do you guys want me to talk about?" And of course, VIP Thrust comes to the forefront and recommends or asks question if I had read Lock and Key yet. And yes, I've read Lock and Key. Specifically, I'm going to talk about Welcome to Lovecraft, which is the 2008 series, basically volume 1 of the series. So it's got a bit of notoriety in that it is written by Joe Hill, who now is better known as Stephen King's son. His full name is Joseph Hillstrom King, but he goes by a pen name of Joe Hill because he wanted to kind of break out on his own and not have his dad's name helping to prop him up. It's got wonderful art by Gabriel Rodriguez. He really captures some very creepy and kind of surreal imagery. It's definitely a mature series. So that's the number one thing is this is not for your kids, and this is not for people that might be maybe concerned about that kind of content. This is for people that want an engaging horror story that's got a bit of a bit of depth to it. Certainly more than, it's not just a slasher by any means. It's got a lot of fantasy to it, and definitely it's very, very smart. So what I've decided to start doing from now on is grabbing my plot or my synopsises from Wikipedia, because they tend to give the most information. And then what I'll do is just kind of go through and cherry pick the details that I feel are important. But this way I won't miss anything that's relevant. So the main series is presented out of order. So the way it starts off is the family first arrives at what they call Key House in a fictional town in Massachusetts called Lovecraft. So obviously H.P. Lovecraft being, one of the inspirations for it, and Massachusetts not too far from Stephen King's, home state of Maine, where he set a lot of his fantastical and horror-filled plots. This has a great old world New England type of feel to it, and it's very Victorian, the house that's there.
Okay.
It's very interesting the way that they conceptualize it. So the plot as presented on Wikipedia, filling in some of the backstory, says during the American Revolution, a group of rebels hiding beneath the future Key House, the one I just described, discover a portal to another dimension. The plains of Lang filled with demons who can mesmerize any who see them and possess them through the touch. So that is one of the main things, is that there's demons that are always around Key House. And when the demons attempt to enter the real world, they end up collapsing into this stuff called Whispering Iron. And these rebels took that iron, and this is the beginning of the family, is young Benjamin Locke, the name of Lock and Key. He forges into a variety of magical keys, including the Omega Key, which seals the entrance to the dimension. So he's able to keep the forces of evil back from being able to cut across.
Cool.
And all these keys are stored in the Key House. So you can go through and find a number of them. So the magic of the Key House gradually evolves over the years, including a spell which causes the occupants to forget about the keys and the magic of the house when they pass their 18th birthday. which means that this really centers around the younger folks inside the house. And even some people that lived through some very horrific things early on do not remember anything about it. So in 1988, a group of teenagers, having used the keys extensively in their high school years, because you could use them to do things like forget bad things. Like you could like put a key in like the back of your head and open up your skull and take like a bad memory out of your brain and like throw it away.
Whoa.
And be like, okay, I'm no longer affected by that. Or you know what, I got a fear of something. So I would like open up my brain, go through and like physically pull it out of my brain, my fear, and get rid of it. And I'd no longer be afraid of that thing. So they would do these kind of things to enhance themselves and have more capabilities, I guess.
To do what? To like demon fight or to like to do?
No,
what
they weren't
specifically?
fighting demons. This was just them being high school kids.
Oh, okay. So I see. Just living
This
their
was
lives.
I'm nervous talking to girls. Well,
Right.
hey, now
it
I'm
out.
Don Juan, right? So that was the kind of the gist of it. There is that they were pushing to make themselves better by eliminating the things that made them an individual.
Cool. Yeah.
So something to think about there. So of course, being stupid teenagers in the '80s, and this being something of a Stephen King inspired series, these teenagers decide to open up the black door with the Omega key, hoping to trick a demon into the real world, so that they can make even more keys to do even more things. What happens is that they do convince a demon to move over, and he does. And as you might suspect, he possesses a whole bunch of them, and things basically go terrible. And many people die, and as time goes on, of course, they forget about that. But they were able to trap the demon that came over, and they resealed him in the Omega, but not until the loss of one of their friends by the name of Dodge. So Dodge crosses over into this the plains of Lang, and he's actually in the demon realm. So
power hungry, and then of course turns on them. Obviously, right?
Exactly. So many years later, present day, so we could say like 20 years later or 30 years later now, Dodge's spirit reaches out to a young abused prodigy whose name is Sam Lesser, and convinces him to attack the locks and kill Rendell, who is looking for the Omega key. And he's trying to allow Dodge to be released from this terrible place. So this kid that was captured is kind of taken over, and his spirit is now ready to like kind of wreak havoc on the house. So Sam goes and kills the father of the Locke family, and after that they realize that they need to go back to this key house and make things right. So where the series really starts off is with them moving in, driving cross country and moving into the key house and begin discovering its secrets.
Yeah. Wow.
So tons more happens from there. And this fills in like a little bit of the backstory, but this is as Thrust mentioned, this was actually in talks to be a TV show, and originally it was going to be on AMC, so like Walking Dead type of show, but now it looks like Netflix is in talks to pick this up.
So sounds like a great story to actually make into a series.
The story's incredible. Joe Hill is like a master writer, and for one being so young, he's really, really impressive with what he was able to create. There's 6 total volumes of the series, and there's some behind the scenes stuff that they wrote out as well. It's a fantastic series. It's chilling, it's disturbing, it's sweet at points. It's one of those things that just makes you have a bunch of feels as you go through.
Oh wow.
One of my favorite all-time series, 9 out of 10. Definitely don't hesitate to give it, one of the highest recommends to anyone interested in a horror series with mature themes.
So that's what you categorize it, a horror. I gotcha.
I'm definitely going to put it in horror,
Right.
but you could think of this as there's other elements. There's teen drama. There's a bit of action at times. There's some family interaction. There's a lot of other things that go on, but I think it falls under the horror umbrella.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Thank you for that.
And, let's hope it doesn't get picked up by AMC, because if you keep up with The Walking Dead and all that kind of stuff, AMC is not a place you want to one of your I guess favorite franchises they end up at this point in time.
Yeah, definitely a good comparison. They said like a darker Stranger Things. I would say there's that, but I would say it's more like Stranger Things because there's like this underlying mystery and there's like all these things that aren't explained that you kind of have to piece together. Probably, I'm trying to think of like a better
More
another
Stephen King
series.
than like it. Or,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like
TT.
it. You can definitely see some parallels with it because of the, the past coming to haunt them and everything. But I don't want to just try to
Yeah.
label this as like a mix of something or like, oh, it's like this, because it's really so unique and it stands up so well on its own as one of the most inventive series I've ever read. So it's for people that have never really, like, if they don't think like comics are art or they don't think that they're for adults, this is the one to show them.
Good stuff.
Thank you. Awesome.
Yep.
Good stuff. We're already pretty long on time, so I don't think we're gonna do
Let's
20
go.
questions.
We have people here.
We can do this. There's people in chat.
All right.
I got it. Go for it. I got a game. Let's go.
Pokemon Yellow. Done.
Dang
Boom.
it! How did you
Moving.
get it so
Moving on.
quick? All right, let's go.
All right. After the year 2000.
What did you say? Released?
Yeah.
It is not released after the year 2000.
Okay.
Was it released after the year 1990?
Yes, it is after 1990.
Okay. Is it console exclusive?
Is it
Oh, I did say console.
console exclusive? Wait, you mean released?
Yeah, is it a console exclusive? Like it would be on just a console?
Just a second. No,
Okay, so it's
not a console.
multi-platform.
Multi-platform.
All right, all right. Now we're not talking about like a remastered that comes down the road or something like that, where like they re-release like
We're talking about on
Chrono
release.
Trigger or something like that, like came out a couple
We're
years
talking
ago.
about, was it released on a platform
On-
originally
Was
by?
it released on more than one platform originally on its original release day?
No, it was released on one platform on its original release day.
Okay, so that would make an exclusive to some extent.
Was it released on a Nintendo platform?
No,
Was it released on PC?
we're talking about the original release. So
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So it got a re-release on PC at some point. So that's good to know. Thanks for the meta. Was it released
Awesome.
on? Let's see. We're talking. It's not a Nintendo platform. So was it on a Sony platform?
No.
Oh, interesting.
So we're thinking Atari or
Well,
Sega.
No, it
After
was
1990. After 1990.
Okay, all right.
So
Maybe
Sega's
it's
fair game.
Sega.
It was on a Sega platform.
Yes.
All right. We're there. We're almost there. We're almost done.
We're almost done. That's it. You have all the information. Just guess. Just guess right now.
All right. Was it on Dreamcast?
It was on Dreamcast.
All right. All right.
Rob's narrowing in. I don't have any.
Come on, let's go.
Now we got to
Hey,
figure out what type of game it was.
chat. Dreamcast. Dreamcast after 1990. Obviously 1990, but Dreamcast right there.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got?
Was it a Sonic title?
It was not a Sonic title.
Was it a fighting game?
It had fighting elements.
Ooh, I don't know if I like that as an answer. Fighting elements.
I don't know. I don't have any expertise in the Sega realm.
Elements. I mean, I was a pretty big Dreamcast player, so
You had 10 questions.
Yeah. I feel good with where we're at, though. Let's see. Although Dreamcast, there was a lot of them there. Fighting elements. Let's try to figure out what else was there. So was it like an RPG?
No. Not in the sense
So-
of what you're thinking. Probably like a true RPG.
I was thinking like a Shenmue might have some fighting stuff.
Fighting elements is all I can say.
Yeah. Let's see. Fighting elements. Um,
Come on, chat.
would it? Oh, would it? I don't know. How do you say like a Streets of Rage type of game, like a beat 'em up? Is that like a fair way to call it?
I don't. I don't know, but I'm not sure what Streets of Rage is like a side-scrolling beat 'em up.
It's
Like
like
yeah,
Double Dragon.
yeah. I would say like yeah, beat 'em up.
It would be considered a beat 'em up.
No.
Oh, okay. That's. I was like, come on, get. That's what I'm. Okay.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
a
So
good point. That product is it a? I don't know. That came out on a. I don't know. I don't know. Dreamcast. Is that a Dreamcast title, Rob?
what's
Chat?
that?
Rayman.
Oh no, Ray. I don't know. Maybe it was a PlayStation for sure. So
Yeah, 12
maybe it
questions. You
was
got plenty of
first.
questions. Got plenty. Come on, chat. You got some questions, so you can help these guys out too.
So you say there's fighting elements. Is it a platformer?
It's not a platformer.
Okay.
Not a platformer. Dreamcast. Fighting elements,
Not a platformer,
guys.
not an RPG. Yeah, fighting out.
It's not a classic RPG. What you're talking about? If that's what you're saying.
Not like Grandia or something like
yeah,
that.
not like that. No.
I don't know, man.
Because like I was thinking like Shenmue, because Shenmue's got like some quick time type of fighting. But man, let's see, that dolphin game.
The dolphin game.
You mean Echo the Dolphin? Yeah, I don't
That
know.
had fighting
I don't
fighting
think he
elements.
fought.
Right.
I don't think he was
I don't
fighting
know.
like a fighting dolphin. I keep wanting to say Dynamite Cop, but I don't think it's that. Like, I'm gonna be so pissed if it is. That's why I said beat 'em up. So you said no, it's not. We said it's not straight up. It's not a fighting game. It's got fighting elements, but it's not a fighting game. So that takes out the Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, Mortal Kombat, all that sort of thing.
Right.
It originally came out on the Dreamcast, so it initially released there, and then re-released on other platforms as time went on. And we said it's not a Sonic game. And let's see.
You can get this. It's right there.
It's right there.
It's right there.
I don't get what's right there about it.
It's right there.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Fighting elements. I mean, just ask any questions. You have plenty of questions. You have 6 more questions.
Was this in a modern setting?
Modern setting, yes.
Okay.
Was the protagonist male?
Male protagonist, yes.
Oh god, that's not helping. None of this is helping.
Thought it would help. I'm sorry.
Modern. Smurfs. Thanks, Thrust. Thanks, Thrust. Let's see. So,
Would
Yeah,
ask
I'm
me
like-
if weapons were involved in the fighting. Would that help any?
yeah, go ahead and ask it. I mean,
Was there any weaponry involved?
In the entire game? Like, if you mean
that like
bad
a-
guys
is that
or
a
good guys use
Is
it?
that like a central point for the
this
quote-unquote
fighting
fighting
elements thing's gonna
element?
piss me off because I don't know how to really describe like what type of game it is yet. It seems like it's one of those like fringe games where it's like a lot of different things.
The main character is human?
like,
you want to ask that one? Maybe that's up to you
I don't
guys. I don't know.
We'll refer in a
Yeah.
modern setting with a male
Yeah.
protagonist.
You don't need
Whatever.
to.
I feel like that's
4 more
yeah.
questions. You guys got this. It's like just kind of narrow it down a little bit.
But the whole weaponry thing. I mean, like, was the character hitting somebody with a large stick or shooting somebody with a gun? That kind of
that
thing.
was Resident Evil, right? Was on there.
No,
If you want to go with that
Yeah,
question,
Resident Evil Code Veronica.
if you want to go with that question, I can say the main character does not use weapons.
then it's not going to be Resident Evil.
No, definitely not. The main character does not use weapons, but there's weapons in the game.
There's fighting element.
There's fighting elements. I got a feeling it's gonna be one that I just can't remember.
Modern.
Fighting elements.
About a guy.
Modern. And it came on Dreamcast first, so it's like an exclusive to that.
Rob.
What? Don't do this.
Rob.
Nah. He's asking if there's any films based on it.
I mean, you might get angry at me that I went on this long, but should I just?
No, we got like we got a minute.
Okay, I got you.
I mean, we only got three more questions. And we got
three questions and a guess. Yeah.
All right.
So you want to ask if there's films based on?
The what's that? Yeah, I have some stuff from chat.
Yeah. Is there any films based on this?
I can't say. I don't know.
No.
I mean,
that's not a good answer. So
I
mean, you can't count it.
I can't count. I'm not counting it. I'm not counting it, so I don't know. No idea.
So the answer is we don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna feel real dumb about this, aren't I?
I'd say go with genre, maybe. Just maybe a
sports game.
Little bit.
Is it a sports game?
Is it an NHL '98?
That's what I was wondering. It feels like
it's not a sports game. I'm not. Should I add that? Okay, 17.
Yeah, that's fine. That counts.
It's not a sport game.
Yeah, we got to eventually end this thing. So, all right. So it's not a sports title. It's not an RPG. There's fighting elements, which I hate. This.
It's not a platformer.
Just Gauntlet Legends. Like, I know he was at, but they don't use weapons, so it's not that. The main character does not use weapons, but there's weapons in the game. Oh, wait a minute. But you said modern, not like futuristic.
Modern.
Yeah, so not
today's
like
day and age.
Or then stay in.
So you said you didn't know if there was films based on it. They made a really great Spider-Man game.
Recap for Lino. Yeah, it's on a Dreamcast.
Jay's not gonna get it.
Fighting elements. All right.
This is before Jay's time.
And basically, not a sports game, not an RPG. It has that's basically what they have right now. It's fighting elements on a Dreamcast.
There's no film.
There's no film as well based on
characters.
Weapons as well is like the main character doesn't use weapons, but there's weapons in the game, and it's modern day.
No. It's not Shenmue.
And they said it's not a fight. It's not a fighting game. It has fighting elements in it. Fighting elements.
Two more questions.
Elements. It's part of the game. The fighting is part of the game. There are other parts of the game.
Is it a puzzle game?
It's not a puzzle game.
Damn, I'm blanking here. So I'm thinking like maybe puzzle, like Super Puzzle Fighter.
That was a good one, but it's not Super Puzzle Fighter.
Yeah, Nightbot. What should we ask?
Nightbot. Do the command. Answer.
How many questions we got left?
We got one more.
You have one more and a guess.
Okay. Is it still made today?
What do you mean made today?
Is the game like the game? Is it a part of a series that's still made?
It is part of a series. How do I? Yes, it's part of a series. It's part of a series that will be made.
Part of a series that will be made.
Yes, or is coming out.
That still doesn't help. I'm gonna feel dumb about this, but I don't remember every Dreamcast game. It's been quite a while.
So yeah, that's a guess, right? No?
Yeah, that definitely counts as one. So we got to guess it now. We got to guess the game. So chat, you've heard what we've heard. We'll give it a few seconds to see if they catch up and have a guess.
I'm gonna make this a little fun. How about you mute, and I'm gonna tell the chat something, and then they see if they can guess it. This is gonna be fun. Trust me. So you don't listen. Take your headphones off or something, and then I'll say.
All right. Here we go.
Chat. They said it already. They said the answer. All right. Go ahead.
What?
You put it back on. All right, so they know.
I can't hear you.
So they know. They should know. I'm just kind of thinking
They should know.
This is funny because I'm pushing it on chat now. Let's see if they do it. Let's see if they do it. Nope. Nothing. They got nothing.
Why did we
They got nothing. Nope. Nothing. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, last thing I'll say is you said it already. So.
Okay, I just gotta throw it out there. Shenmue.
Yeah, it's Shenmue.
Damn it! Why don't you?
It's Shenmue. It's Shenmue, bro.
That's an RPG.
That's not an RPG. It is not an
That's
RPG. I would not categorize that as an RPG. You can say yes, it is you role play somebody, but it's honestly it's like an action adventure like life simulator that has fighting elements in it.
How the hell am I supposed to guess action adventure life simulator?
But it's like everything that you had. Like oh man, you had it like at 11. I'm sorry, man. Like I wanted to keep it hush, but you had it, Rob. Rob had it. I'm gonna give it to Rob. There you go.
We're at an hour and a half, so we need to close this up.
All right, everybody.
Solid,
that was fun.
All right. Yeah. Good game.
GG. All right. So here's the plug, everybody. Thank you for all of the people that are watching live. We do this, at least we try to do this every week. And
but not next week.
Not next week. I think tomorrow or next week you'll be out. Or
I'll be out, but hopefully you guys will do something.
I'll also be out too.
Yeah, it'll be 3 weeks. So.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah.
No, we'll see. We'll see.
Perfect time to miss.
Yeah, of course. And then I like to say that the community has hit 8,000 on Discord.
That's huge.
That is huge news. I will be going for a Discord application for partnership. We'll see how that goes. I'll keep everyone updated. Thank you, everyone. I would say just thank you for being a member, and it's still growing. We have big news. We have more plans. So, and that's all going to be on the Discord, and you can get the Discord information on PixelPubGaming.com. Check that out. That's got all the information you need from like anything about the podcast, about our clans, about the games we play, about our tags. So you can go to the staff page and check us out and see like friend us or whatever. And then of course we have merchandise now. Check that out. Get some PixelPub swag if you like. So yeah, it'd be really nice. And PixelPubGaming.com.
We'll be rocking the shirts. Hopefully I'll have mine next week.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm gonna order Rob's soon as well.
Yeah, and Thrust is asking when we're gonna do Naked Wednesdays. We're already doing it. All of us, no pants on.
Yeah, this is all green screen, but what you see is different.
If you've seen Deadpool 2, if you've seen Deadpool 2, I'm doing a full Winnie the Pooh.
I thought it was the Donald Duck, right?
Or the Donald Duck, yeah. Either one of those work.
just a shirt.
But
that's
I
it.
guess it's it for us. See you guys later.
Yep.
See you guys.